Hi there, beautiful souls watching. Thank you. I'm Gabrielle, retired medium in Germany, and I like to share some of my otherworldly experiences and insights that might help you. So, this one is about Star Trek. I'm a very visual person. That's why I love to watch. I watch the birds in my garden, and I love movies. And I loved to watch as a child the old first TV films about knights. And then, although I'm a bit late for the party because of my birth year, I stumbled upon Star Trek and Enterprise and Deep Space Nine and all these kind of sci-fi series. And I watched them and I liked them and I felt there's something in there. I even had the feeling whenever I close my eyes, I'm on a kind of ship and I'm walking these hallways and I feel the camaraderie within the crew and it all feels so well known. So when I started my mediumship training and had experiences, they, the Elohim that I channel, or that channeled through me, better put in words like that, they just gave me a hint and they said, do some research. And I said, huh? What? Why? I don't get it. And they said, well, research Gene Roddenberry, who created most of these movies. So I started, and my eyes got bigger and bigger and bigger. I didn't know that, but now it makes all the sense in the world. Gene Roddenberry was a creative person, and source can best unfold in creativity. So he was open-minded, and he got in contact with some people who at that time took part in sessions with a well-known medium from that time, Phyllis Schlemmer. And in this group were also some kind of scientific people like Andrea Puharich. I think he got a military background, but doesn't matter. And they tried to set up something like a science experiment. They even put Phyllis Schlemmer into a Faraday cage to write out influences as best as possible. And Phyllis Schlemmer gave a lot of answers to a lot of questions the people in the group had. And in the end, she got in contact with some kind of higher consciousness. And that was not a single consciousness, that was like a group consciousness. And she could say that they feel like several consciousnesses. And they were asked who they are, and they named themselves the Nine. Isn't it funny? And a lot of the ideas and inspirations that Gene Roddenberry got from these medium sessions, they went directly into his film creativity work, and he created this whole series. And there is the thing about the prime directive: never interfere, with a developing culture or a developing single being. So that's a big, profound truth because it's free will. If Source, God, consciousness, love, light, however you want to call it, really is a loving and benevolent energy or force. And I like to quote St. Paul, who answered when he was asked about his definition of God. He said, "It's the source of the cosmos with everything in it, where we all are and have our being and moving." Or, I love the simple things. I once heard about a child that said, a small child, "You know what God is?" And the mother said, "No." At least she was honest. And the child answered, "God is a big ball of light. And whenever we come down to earth, He's giving us a piece of His light with us." So that's a definition that fits very well with me because I like the simple things. So Prime Directive really is about free will. And free will means that Source is so loving that it even allows to go the wrong direction and have some experiences over there. And I found they're repeating it now in the TV, the series Startreck and all this sci-fi movie films. I'm watching it now with a total different point of view, and I can find so many explanations, and they're even dealing with some moral questions or ethical questions and spiritual questions. That's why I love Star Trek, because there's so much hidden in there. And as the Elohim that channeled through me, told me, well, that was planted by the consciousnesses of the nine in the void, to give a future vision to humanity as a seed planted by pictures, because the soul speaks in pictures, not in words and concepts and thoughts. And this seed, I think, is touching a lot of people, and it's starting to grow, and we all come more or less one way or another, sooner or later, to the conclusion, well, there is something else, something bigger, and I'm part of it. And as a fractal, you know, this is the tiniest part in the universe that contains everything. So I can only advise to have a different look at sci-fi movies, and maybe the old ones are the best ones. And you can find all kinds of experiments. I noticed that in the recent time, all the sci-fi movies get darker and darker, and they're about threats and invasion of the aliens. If you stick to the light innate in you, you can see that this is a game unfolding. You're tempted to pick a side and say, whoa, they are the villains. They are the bad guys. This is darkness. And the Elohim, showed me a picture like a football team. I was never interested in football, can't even stay and watch it because to me it's kind of boring shooting a ball and then in the end someone is the winner and the other is the loser. So again, we're in duality. And they showed me, well, there's the blue team wearing blue clothes and there's the red team wearing red clothes. And next time, you're in the blue team. And before, you were in the red team, because how can you choose the light, the divine, if you don't know the dark? So we need experiences and other lives and incarnations on both sides of the so-called, I don't even know how to call it. So we're playing the duality team, and it's just a game. We're not meant to pick a side. We are meant to master this machinery, this vessel that was created to perceive and receive higher consciousness. And if you can manage to stay in balance and harmony, in neutrality, in the middle, and not be tossed around like the scales of the weighing mechanism. They always laugh. They say that's how the mind of people work and science works. Weighing, measuring, and counting. You cannot weigh the soul. You cannot measure it, and you can never count the soul. So, okay, here we go again. And a lot of this wisdom is within Startreck. It's hidden, and it came via this medium, Phyllis Schlemmer, who got in contact with a higher consciousness in the void. I've never been in the void, but I heard people talk about it, and it makes a lot of sense to me. There are so many places and dimensions all over this little space. We can only see a special part of visible light. We normally cannot perceive ultraviolet, gamma rays, X-rays, infrared, and so on and so on. As a child, I always wondered, because my father was a chief forester, and on Sundays one of the kids had to go with him into the forest, and it was more an obligation than fun, because he was being the German senior teacherly know-it-all better, and he was asking vocabulary from Latin, and I still remember the name of a special bug in Latin. Can't get this out of my head because it's so trained into me. But the funny thing was, we had this hunting dog, and he chose a race, the cocker, a spaniel, which isn't that perfect to be a hunting dog. And that dog did not obey very often. But my father had this dog whistle. And when he blew into the dog whistle, I couldn't hear anything, but the dog came running. They can perceive tones we cannot hear. They're directly connected with these invisible dimensions that are all around us, and we're right in the middle of it, but we can only perceive so much or so little. Depends on how you view it. So that was all for now. I hope you get a little inspiration and a different viewpoint maybe onto some things. I wish you all the best. Blessings, love, and light, beautiful souls. Thank you for watching.